Good morning. I am in Two Rivers, Neshotah Beach right now. Point Beach State Forest is just up the shoreline, and walking right past me, just like 4 feet away, is the Ice Age National Scenic Trail. I'm not here for any of my normal reasons today. I am in Two Rivers here for Kites Over Lake Michigan. This is its 17th year. For the first 14 years, I believe, it took place on this beach. 2 years ago in 2020, the beach was gone. The beach was all the way up to the sidewalk. So they had to find a new home for this event. They went up the street to the high school and used the athletic fields there. I think it is a great venue. It's not on the beach. If you want the beachfront festival, a couple weeks ago, that was up in Algoma. They had a festival. So this one is now at the high school. It's a Labor Day weekend event. And the main reason I'm here is recently we sold our house, moved into the building our store that my wife and I own, and had to downsize. In a past life, 25 years ago, I lived out in Massachusetts and was an avid kite flyer and collector of kites. My personal focus on kites was indoor kites. When I was outside, it was about art kites, very specific handmade, handcrafted kites. Well, I've been sitting on those all these years. I haven't used many of them in about 15, 20 years. So I decided this weekend I was going to bring them to a kite festival and try to thin out my collection. I'm selling off most of it to other kite flyers. So let's take a look around this kite festival. So now, while obviously the beach has come back, it's still very tight for a festival. There may be 75 feet of beach there. The stunt kite flyers like to fly on 150-foot lines. The big kites, some of them are larger than this beach. Just if they were just to be there, they need room to anchor them. They need room to fly them, especially on the performances of the stunt kites. The last time they were here, the stunt kite performers were standing way out in the water to fly their kites. Well, that water's pretty darn cold, and to do that all day for 2 days is kind of brutal. So now they have this beautiful field. They worked with the city, the school district, and are working with this beautiful ball field, or collection of ball fields. There goes the beach cleaner. And can spread out. There are a couple flyers who want to have a lot more space and not get tangled up with other people. They park themselves way in the front of the field. They got some horses and some other ones up there. And then there's the stunt kite flyers, have a ton of room. All right, so just as I decided to film this at sunrise, the tractor decided he's gonna do donuts right here in front of me. I have no idea what he's doing now. Just driving in circles. This might be his artistic expression. Or is he chasing that seagull? I don't know if you can see it or not, but he made a big old circle at the end of his run over here. I do love these mats. They really do make the beaches more accessible. This park along the beach is very beautiful park. Nice bathhouse here, changing room. They have some basic concessions here. And there's a bunch of wooded sections too, if you want to get off and give yourself a break sometimes from the beach and the wind and the sun to explore. All right, now that I'm in the woods and away from the shoreline, you can probably hear me better. So let's talk about this kite festival. So there was a kite shop in town that I think closed a couple of years ago, but it was doing very well, and I think it was retirement time. And the owner of the kite shop decided to hold a festival on the beach and created a wonderful event that just kept growing. It's a good way to grow your business, is to have an event like that. And we got, like I said, we have the big kites. Most of them now, well, big kites have always been sort of soft kites. They're inflatables. A lot of what you're seeing is some of them can fly on their own, but they are also sort of almost a windsock. They have a lifter kite way up high that just kind of keeps them stable in the air, and then they are tethered off along that line, off the ground, and stay inflated. The big stingrays, those can fly on their own, but they kind of wobble around a lot. But when you anchor them up from above, so it's basically a sky anchor way up high with a stable kite that isn't going to wander around. And the same with the whales and all these other fish and the dragon. All of those kites are anchored from above but can kind of fly on their own. And then you've got the stunt kite field, where they're doing demonstrations all day, some as individuals, some as teams. They fly to music, sometimes it's music of their choice. And at this festival, they also, because they're doing so many of them, they are sometimes given mystery music. The DJ just puts on something and then they have to fly to it and try to make it look like it belongs. And then a couple times a day, they'll have their candy drops, where they gather all the kids onto the sport kite field, lift a big bag of candy in the air, and they've also, to add to that, stationed around the field people with compressed air cannons with candy in them to help spread out the candy, because it's kind of hard to predict exactly where that candy is going to fall. And you got to be kind of careful what kind of candy you put in, because if you put in things like butterscotches and things, you're going to pelt the kids on the head. You need things that flutter down. So this is the 2-day festival at the high school. Used to be on the beach. And I think while it's nice to fly along the shore, it really limits what you can do in a festival. So this new location is actually pretty cool. Now the beach itself is also worth a trip. I came down here yesterday at about 4:30 after the festival was over, and there was still a lot of people. It was relatively cold in my view. It wasn't packed, but there was quite a few people down here enjoying the beach, wandering around. And I can see if you put a festival here, this place would be packed, but there was more parking over at the high school and it was full all day. So if you're in the Two Rivers area, if you visit Point Beach State Park, just up the way, it's worth coming down to Two Rivers, explore this little town. It's kind of unique. It's a small town, but with some good amenities. This beach is one of them, and it's pretty easy. You can actually follow the Ice Age Trail, which I'm actually walking on right now, all the way up to Point Beach, and if you want to keep going, you go to Potawatomi State Park. It's a little longer, but and there's bike path, so you can also take a bike path all the way down. This is really a nice beach. There's the lighthouse over there at the entrance to the harbor, and it truly is two rivers. You have two rivers coming from inland that meet in the middle of town and then output into Lake Michigan here. And we are just north of Manitowoc. Quite a few people come out here, it looks like, every morning for sunrise, go for their walks. I can see why. It's a really nice, well-maintained beach. So the water was almost up to the sidewalk a couple years ago. Some people were upset that the event didn't come back here, but this still is pretty tight for a kite festival. Coming up on the dune. Apparently I'm supposed to get my picture here. Okay, it was deeper than I thought. So thanks for coming along, checking out something a little unique, not something I normally would do, but I had a reason, and I was in the area. And I'm gonna put this close to my return to Point Beach State Forest, the redemption video, where I highly recommend it now. So if you saw my previous video and you saw me saying that I made 2 years ago, saying that it wasn't worth coming up at the time, it really was not good at the time, but now it is gorgeous. This area is worth coming to visit. So if you like these little journeys I take, please like and subscribe to the videos. I'll try to keep finding new places to go. I have a lot more videos lined up, other places I'm going. Got a few more trips planned this fall yet, which will take me into winter videos, I believe. And then we'll see where next year takes us. If you got recommendations of other places and things I should do, let me know. I'm not someplace where I got to go interview people. I'm not very good at that. But thanks for coming along on the journey. I'll see you on the next one. Get on out there.